Yes, hello guys. Man just sacked Ruben Amorim, and I feel it's a big blunder. Uh, uh, well, what I can say about him is that he has been rigid about his methods, and he's a guy who has a goal and who has something to build. He's a guy who is a builder. He's someone I saw that could build something from scratch and make it something. First and foremost is I don't know why he was sacked, but last week he did something that he had not done before. That means he changed formation from 3-4-3 to 4-2-3-1. And then this week he goes back to the back three. Right now Manu has a crisis. We lack key players in the team who have gone for AFCON, and we also have injuries, a series of injuries, players who are out for injuries. And this has affected the club's performance over time. And however, the people also we've had and we've been using in the club, the bench, we've also seen that some of them don't meet up with the standards of United. They're like not Man United standards. For example, I'll tell you like Euro is not Man United standard. You can also bear witness with me. We have guys like Ugarte. Well, Ugarte is not a guy who is consistent in performance. You don't give him roles and expect him to deliver. Sometimes he disappoints when you really count on him. They will bring him as a substitute to change the game, make an impact. Instead, he also gets sunk into the same sand. That means he's not so helpful and he's not so reliable. You realize that some of the players whom I see are not United standard at double, but at least compared to others, he's more useful and his impact is felt. His presence is felt on the field, on the pitch. He's good at interception. He has the gas. You realize that we have players like Kobe Maino who have been complaining on play. Kobe can't play 190 minutes. He can't play 80 minutes. By the time he hits 40 minutes, he's already out of gas. 30 minutes, he's already out of gas. He only needs a small play time. So it has been critical. The 3-4-3 formation needs people who have gas. It needs people who can run box to box. Basically, that's how the formation works, and it has been a bit tricky for Amorim. Well, I think they have been pressuring him, and for him, he had to remain stick with his decision. I don't know whether he had ego to fulfill or he was doing what he really felt was the right thing to do. Well, the formation is good. I like it because when you use that formation, you have more control of the midfield. And when you're attacking, you have 3 players in the box. You have these 2 midfielders, outside midfielders at the flanks, and then you have the defense balancing the midfield there, whereas the midfield also pushes up front to attack. That means you have, and the good thing with it is that the full backs or the back 3 don't overlap. And most times when they've been giving us counterattacks, that means we lack speed, we lack aggression in our defense, and so on. So basically, this formation has also helped Manu to realize the loopholes they have in the club. So when you look at the decision for chasing, this guy brought us from the 14th position to the 6th position. I know Man United as a team wants to be back in the Champions League. They want to be the contenders for the Premier League and so on, but all I can say is with the players we have and the current situation, it's a bit hard. We just have to survive to see that we finish in the top 6. Europa wouldn't be bad, but we would prefer possibly Champions League, the big stage. Okay? So sacking Amorim was, I think, unnecessary. I wouldn't say it is a blunder. Well, at some point, yes, at some point, no, but I think chasing him right now, partly is a messed up decision. It wasn't called for necessarily. Most times, if it was a pressure from the fans, I would say yes. But this is basically a board decision. Well, you saw Manu struggling over the weekend. They are supposed to be beaten seriously. But I don't know how they survived and pulled up, but the performance wasn't so impressive. You know? Typically, Amorim has shown to us over time that some players we have in Man U are not Man United standard. That means you need to get more. He let go of some players whom I also thought were outstanding. I don't know why or what made him do that, but maybe they don't suit his style of play. But all I can say, for example, Anthony, well, you don't have Mbeumo, Anthony, Ahmad all in one place. That will force you to bench some and leave someone to play. And you cannot bench Mbeumo, you cannot bench Anthony, you cannot bench Ahmad, because you all need these key players in the field. And performance-wise, switching Anthony to the left wing would also be tricky. He will not perform the way he performs when he's inverted winger. So the same applies to Ahmad. Of course they can do, but they won't have the flexibility like they do when they're inverted wingers, as inverted wingers. So basically, firing Amorim wasn't called for. That was a blunder to me. He needed more time. Right, currently I had Darren Fletcher is going to be the one interim until Man United appoints a new coach. I don't know who is available for them. I don't know. Will they bring back Carrick? Will they bring Zidane? Will they bring Mourinho back? Because he's jobless as far as I know. So let's wait and see what the club brings next to the table. But what I can say is United needs more players, more quality players, especially in the midfield. You realize that Dogu has actually relieved Bruno Fernandes of his duties. Do you realize that Bruno Fernandes is not overworked when Dogu is there? Because at some point in time we used to have the Luke Shaws and Daluts. Now, when you had Luke Shaw, when he overlaps, he leaves space behind. Bruno, instead of going for attack, comes back to cover up the space. And then when he switches back, Bruno goes in. You realize that Bruno used to play the role of that wing, running the whole of that left wing. Because Garnacho was more attack-minded, and for him his role was to cut in. That means someone had to overlap, always to be there in the flanks, which Bruno Fernandes was doing. But when Dogu came, Bruno was relieved. That means he had to be balancing the team in front of the box when we're building up to enter or to score. So, critical thinking, let's just hope for the best as United find a new coach and so on. I hope it will be in this January transfer season and transfer window. Hopefully not until the end of the season. Yeah,